She's so easy to get along with. That's a compliment. Nobody ever asks what someone had to do to earn it, because it isn't really a personality trait, it's a result. So here's the smallest possible example, and I want you to notice if you do this too. Every time I ask someone for something, anything, a favor, a question, moving a meeting, I add no worries if not at the end. Every single time. I have forgiven them for saying no before they've even read the message. I've handed them the exit before I've handed them the request, and I always thought that was politeness. But politeness would be, let me know if that doesn't work. No worries if not is something else. That's me making sure that if they're annoyed, I got there first. I annoyed myself on their behalf so they wouldn't have to. Same energy as when someone asks where you want to eat and you say, I'm easy, anywhere's fine. And then you spend the whole evening in a restaurant you didn't want, being very slightly disappointed in a way you would never admit out loud, because you're the one who said anywhere's fine. I've done that so many times that at some point I stopped having restaurant opinions. Not because I don't have preferences, because I stopped checking. That's the part that got my attention actually. Not the saying yes. Okay, so here's the thing I keep circling back to. We talk about people pleasing like it's this soft, gentle, slightly pathetic trait. But it's actually a very demanding skill. You're running a simulation constantly. What will she think if I say this? Was that too much? Did that sound cold? That takes real processing power. I'm running background software all day, predicting other people's emotional reactions, and I'm not even getting paid for it, which makes it less like generosity and more like customer service. And there's something a bit funny buried in it. For all the anxiety involved, the habit is weirdly confident. It assumes you have real power over how somebody else's day goes. That one badly worded message is going to land in the middle of their afternoon and just sit there. Mostly it doesn't. Mostly people are busy with their own messages. It's closer to, I'd rather manage the situation than be surprised by it. And I think that's actually the problem. It's a controlled thing wearing a kindness costume. Because deciding in advance what somebody can handle hearing from you is a decision you're making about them without telling them. The logic underneath is, this person can take my real opinion, so I'll hand over the easy version. And when you say it out loud like that, it's not actually flattering to them at all. Flip it around. If I found out that a friend had been giving me a softened, pre-tested version of herself for 8 years because she decided somewhere along the way that I'd be upset by the real one, I'd be sad about it, and a little insulted. She'd have spent all that effort protecting me from something I never asked to be protected from. Here's where it gets uncomfortable for me though. If nobody's met the actual version of you, then nobody's actually chosen you. I don't mean that in a sad way, I mean it very practically. Compliments don't land properly when you're performing. Someone says, you're so easy to be around. And there is this half second where instead of feeling good, you think, yeah, because I'm working. You can't feel loved for something you're doing on purpose. That's the loneliness that doesn't make sense from the outside. Full calendar, good friends, people who genuinely like you, and this small dead spot in the middle where nothing reaches. The other thing I want to say, and this one matters to me, is that being agreeable isn't always a bound. For some of us, it's a skill that worked. It kept things calm. It got you through rooms where being calm was the smartest available option. It's a little insulting when people talk about it like it's purely damage. Sometimes it was a strategy, and it was good strategy. And the only real problem is that nobody told you when you could stop. So then the question isn't, how do I stop caring? It's more like, what did all that agreeing actually buy me? Was it worth what it cost? And I changed my mind about this recently because of something I noticed about my own friendships. The people I trust most have all said no to me. Every single one. There's a friend who told me she didn't like a project I was excited about, and now she's the only person whose opinion I actually believe. There's someone who cancelled on me and just said, "I'm too tired, I don't want to come," and didn't invent a fake emergency. And I remember thinking, oh, so when you do show up, it means something. That's the part I hadn't put together. Being easy makes you less trustworthy. If I say yes to everything, my yes is worthless. It's not information, it's a reflex. Nobody can use it to know how I feel about anything. So all those years of being maximally agreeable, I thought I was giving people something. I was actually taking something away from them. There's a version of this that shows up in anything you make too. If you make something, a video, a business, a Substack, a planned dinner, and your main goal is that nobody dislike it, you'll end up sanding down everything interesting about it. And the thing you're left with is technically unobjectionable and completely forgettable. Nobody complains, nobody remembers it either. The math is worse than people admit. Something that offends no one usually reaches no one. Because the things that make a person love something are the same things that make another person go, not for me. Which means at some point you're choosing. Do I want to be tolerated widely or liked properly? And I don't think you get both. And I spent a really long time trying to negotiate for both. Okay, what I'm actually doing about this is much less impressive than everything I just said. I'm not doing a big personality overhaul. I tried the big version. It lasted about 9 days. So now it's stupidly small things. When someone asks where we should eat, I name a restaurant. It feels weirdly high stakes and it's a restaurant. I stopped putting sorry at the front of emails when I haven't done anything. Turns out most of my sorries were just throat clearing. I replaced them with nothing. The email is fine. I let a silence sit for about 3 seconds before I fill it. Genuinely, one of the hardest things on this list. My instinct is to jump in and rescue the conversation. And it turns out the conversation is not drowning. It's just quiet. And the big one. I say no and then I don't add a paragraph explaining why. No documentation. No supporting evidence. Just, I can't make it. I have to physically resist the urge to build a case file. Here's what I learned from doing that which surprised me. The discomfort has a halftime. When I say no to something, there's about 20 minutes of feeling genuinely ill about it. Then a few hours of low level, should I message them and soften it? And then by the next day, I've usually forgotten I did it. Nobody died, nobody left, nobody brought it up again. I'd been living like that feeling was permanent. Although, I want to be honest about one thing. Because I don't think the title of this video is completely true. I don't actually find joy in being disliked. I've been trying to. It's not there. When I find out someone doesn't like me, I still go through the whole thing. The replaying, the wondering what I said, the small satisfying revenge fantasy where they realize they were wrong about me. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you it becomes pleasant. It doesn't. What changes is that it stops being an emergency. It moves from something has gone catastrophically wrong to, oh, that's a person who doesn't like me. Same information, completely different rate. That's the whole thing, really. Not joy. Just it costs less than it used to. And I'm still figuring out where the line is. Because there is a version of this where you get so committed to being unbothered that you become the kind of person who says harsh things and calls it honesty. I don't want to end up there either. I'd rather be slightly too accommodating than that. The thing I keep coming back to is that I don't have a plan for becoming someone who doesn't care. I don't think that person exists and I'm not sure I'd like her. I just think I've been paying a subscription fee for years. In small amounts, I never noticed it leaving my account. A restaurant here, a weekend there, an opinion I had and didn't mention. And it's not that any single one of those mattered. It's that I never once looked at the total. So, tell me something in the comments. What's a small thing you said yes to recently that you actually didn't want to do?